5 things you may not know about the Circus Maximus. 1. It's very, very old. In fact, it's thought to have dated as far back as the 6th century BC and linked to 2 of the Roman kings, who are sort of mythical people. Now, there was one piece of archaeological evidence which we can date from there, and that's a stone seat for an official, which dates to 494 BC. But obviously the track would have existed way before that, or possibly a good few decades before that. And often people think of this and the Colosseum, but the Colosseum, AD 80. So the gap between that stone seat and the Colosseum, 574 years. 2. It came to look like this much, much later on. Originally, it sat in a marshy area. You see, it's in a valley, and the Romans had to drain it. And when they drained it, they were left with a couple of sort of stream beds with a central bank in the middle. And they backfilled on those stream banks, raised them up a bit, but they still had that central bank. And that central bank, they realigned a bit, and that came to be the spina that went along the middle of the track. Originally then, and probably for a good few centuries, we're talking about a flat track with some turning posts and perhaps some seating. Those stone seats, perhaps very special people, but at best, you were likely to get wooden ones. 3. Originally, it was chariots, which is what you'd expect, but other events were held there as well, such as beast hunts, processions, even triumphs, basically anything that needed a lot of people. And at its peak, it's thought that it could have a capacity of 250,000 people. 4. As it grew, it became the place to go, and it became the place to sell stuff. So you had lots of shops growing up around it. Now, this came at a price, because in AD 64, there was a great fire at Rome, and this was said to have started in one of those shops. And finally, 5. How did they keep track of the number of laps that were being run or driven? Well, originally they had wooden eggs set up along the spine, and that apparently gave some indication to the crowd as to what lap they were on. And that was added to later on with bronze dolphins, which must have been turned or lowered or something to indicate the lap. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. Likewise, if you've got any comments, stick them in the comments. And if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you click follow.